if we're talking about a life story, I mean, I'll tell you everything I remember.
There you go.
Most of it I don't, but unfortunately, that's
fine.
too many things that have happened actually. And we're actually building a musical around it, so it's really funny. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
All right, let's say that for the
Yeah.
Try to get it right this time. Jeez.
Hey people, didn't I tell you we were back? And this time, I really mean it. Just like the roadie who swears he'll label the cables this time. Okay, bad example. Seriously, we've got a whole bunch of brand new episodes coming your way with guests so cool they practically require fog machines and follow spots. So saddle up, stay tuned, and trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet. And hey, if you're enjoying the Backstage Cowboys podcast, don't keep it to yourself like the secret stash of gaffer tape everyone guards. Hit like, share it far and wide, shout it out from rooftops, or whisper it seductively into someone's ear. Consensually, of course. Remember, the podcast is available on every platform. For real. If your app plays audio, we're on it. Just search Backstage Cowboys podcast and boom, we appear like a freshly struck par can. Guaranteed. We're also on Facebook, and if you want even more bizarre fun, behind the curtain goodies, right on over to BackstageCowboys.com and see what strange surprises we've cooked up for you. Now, usually on this show, we chat with techs, audio engineers, lighting wizards, video gurus, people who know 47 ways to fix a show with electrical tape and pure panic. But today, folks, we're taking a hard left turn so sharp you might spill your coffee. Straight into the backstage world of the musicians. Because let's be honest, as Backstage Cowboys, everything we do ultimately exists to support them. The musicians are the backbone of this whole crazy industry. The reason the gear gets packed, the trucks get loaded, the cables get coiled, or creatively thrown into road cases. And my guest today, oh yeah, we're going big. I'm talking to Amerigo Damico, the mastermind behind the Montreal Rhapsody Orchestra, known worldwide as Rhapsody Orchestra. Amerigo is the founder, producer, orchestrator, booker, basically the Swiss Army knife maestro of live entertainment. If there's a detail to be managed, he's already managed it. Twice. This man produced more bands than some people have produced hot dinners. Sometimes multiple bands at once. The corporate entertainment world simply wouldn't be the same without him making sure every show is flawless, polished, and downright spectacular. So let's head backstage, behind the curtain, under the lights, and into the world of live musicianship with the one and only Amerigo Damico. Giddy up! Let's get into it!
Going?
Good thing I checked, because you never know, right?
No.
You just hit like...
An hour and a half later, we got none of that.
Well, my granddaughter was actually, it was her first birthday.
Okay.
Yesterday, yeah.
Congratulations.
Or the day before, whatever. And thank you. And at some point, so we give her cake, right?
Yeah.
And I'm taking pictures. Then I flip the video and I hit record. And I'm like, oh, just as she picks up the cake and puts it in her face, I'm like, yes, I got it. No, I don't got it. For some reason, it's not recording.
Yeah.
And then I found out I just flipped the video and hit record too fast and it didn't catch on.
Okay.
I did that quite a few times, actually.
It happens.
Yeah. Oh,
actually, it happens to me quite a bit because it's all dead fingers. So every time I try to use the phone, I don't get the contact. I don't get the grounding.
Is that what's going on with my fingers?
It's possible because as a bass player, these are all dead.
Oh, and you play for real. I play once in a while.
Oh no, it happens. I know a lot of people, guys in construction also. Their hands are like bricks.
All right, well that would explain it then. Okay, now I understand what's going on.
All right. Amerigo.
Yes.
Hey, man.
Hey.
So happy that you're here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I mean, you guys got to know that Amerigo, I've been trying to get him on the podcast for a long time. And, we're both busy with this and that. And it's been, a couple of years now?
It's been a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah. We just ran into each other by chance.
Quebec City.
Quebec City.
That's right.
And then, I don't know, somehow the magic came together and we made it happen. And Amerigo actually drove to my house, braved traffic, brought his own mic. The guy walks into my podcast with a U87. I mean...
Carry it in the briefcase.
I'm intimidated, man.
Oh, my God. No, not at all.
So that's why you sound like $1 million.
Well, thank you.
Right. And for some reason, I got the echo in my mic, and there's no... We're in the same room, right? So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a lovely, lovely place, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Here. Appreciate
Beautiful
it.
home.
Yeah, small but cozy, I guess.
Very nice.
So we met like some 15, 20 years ago, something like that. Maybe 15.
Yeah, well, we were in the same office space. I started 2011 back then, so I don't know when you came in roughly, but it was about that.
Yeah, sometime around that.
Yeah.
And you were producing bands. I think you're still in that business.
That's
also.
correct. Yep.
Listen, we'll go everywhere you want to go. I mean, I'd like to understand what you're doing now and how you got to doing what you're doing now and what you've been through all these years. I mean, this is a bit different, whereas we're normally, I have people that talk about technical stuff.
Right.
And of course, we're never very far from the technical stuff, but you're more on the musical side.
I am. I am also on technical. I mean, I do build most of my rigs and all my racks and everything for the band. So to make sure that everything is accommodating, you're always dealing with space issues. You're always dealing with number of musicians and whatnot. But if we go to the beginning, essentially, I started producing bands, building bands for special events back in... I'm going to say 2001 was probably my very first project. Now, obviously, prior to that, I've done a whole slew of wedding bands as a musician and so on and so forth, earning your weekend livings that way. But I basically knew that I just wanted to do something a bit different than what we were being offered in this industry. Where everybody was still in tuxedos back then, the bands and two-stepping and still reading every chart and stuff like that. So I wanted to break away from that mold. And started with my very first band called High Fidelity.
Yeah, I remember that band.
Yeah, and it was essentially the whole principle was, why not... taking a picture.
I'm sorry for the interruption. It's just that
he pulls out a camera.
the guy sitting in my playroom, actually, my office, my everyday go-to room, and he's got all these guitars behind him. And we know with the headphones on and the U87,
that should make a good picture.
It makes a classical picture, man. Really.
There, I'll pose.
Perfect. Sorry for the interruption.
So High Fidelity back in 2003, I think, was when the band was developed. And basically it was, I was with a partner at the time, and I said, we're musicians. We know how to record. Mm-hmm. I was dabbling in video also. Let's just bring this all together and see if we can make a business out of it, and let's make a band. Why not act like U2 or act like a band in these scenarios, in these corporate events, as opposed to just going there and, in a black suit and playing music. So we created this, very high energy style corporate band that people would hire for, basically fundraisers or corporate events, weddings, also, Christmas stuff. And it was one of a kind, and that took off immediately. Then the second idea I had basically was back in 2008, because I had a love for strings and string players and everything about strings I just absolutely adored. And I wanted to incorporate that into one of these bands. But again, not in a classic sense where they're just sitting down playing the violins and accompanying,
Yeah.
I wanted them up, moving, and, all this beautiful choreography and stuff like that. So I created Rhapsody Orchestra at the time. And that basically changed my life. So that was the beginning of where I am today.
And you had 2 versions of that band at some point?
I had, pre-pandemic, I had 3 versions.
3 versions?
3 versions of that
Wow.
band. And I had 5 bands in all, pre-pandemic. So we lost a lot of musicians during the pandemic, so we had to downscale since then.
Yeah, I suppose you would. So how did you come along? I mean, from being a musician in a band and being creative, that's one thing. But then making a business out of it, actually producing bands and handling all the booking and it's not just booking the gigs, but also booking the musicians, making sure everybody is there on time, making sure everybody is up to par with what you want to deliver, because I know that you were very, very, very demanding in terms of performance and quality.
Yes, demanding is a nice way to put it. Yeah, I understand that. The thing that I keep on saying, which is really, really funny about my life in this industry, is that I wasn't made for this, in my opinion, actually.
For the business part, or
dealing with people.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have the people skills that I really wanted, to talk to people. The only thing I really did have was the ability to convince someone that I wasn't lying to them about where we're going with this.
Okay.
And they believed me. And year after year, I promised that I was always going to bring up the bar. And I promised a band, and I told them, this year we're going to hit this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to end up in Europe. We're going to end up here. And I always delivered that, which was great.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that I was able to do, and they believed me about that. So I kept a lot of the same musicians for many years, which is a gift. In this industry, it's an absolute gift, because you get the ability to develop your product to a point where most bands can't get.
Yeah.
You're trusting one another, you know each other's beats, you know each other's movements, and you're creating something completely different. So that helped a lot. And finding key people that you trust that will take on the additional load of dealing with musicians and booking, because that is a task in itself.
Yeah.
Which I didn't have the patience for. It was hard for me, because it's always like, well, what do you mean you can't do my contract? Why wouldn't you? It's like, we did so many of them together. Why can't you do it today? But it doesn't work that way. So I needed someone who understood that. So, I had my right-hand man who's still here with us today and still doing it. So
cool.
Luckily, I'm very lucky to still have him. And he's been doing an amazing job of doing that. And he's a big part of this. So, because he finds the right people.
Yeah.
When it's time.
So where'd you get your idea? I mean, your first band was Hi-Fi, I believe,
High Fidelity,
right?
yeah.
Then you had Sonic, then you had Plush.
Well, Sonic was Plush, actually.
Okay,
yeah.
Sonic was Plush.
Yeah, Sonic was basically, you're seeing this massive movement of DJs coming out, in the early 2000s. And so, you say, well, why can't we just have a DJ in the band, and just integrate that? Lasted a couple of years. After that, I just didn't, it wasn't where I really wanted to go. And Rhapsody and High Fidelity, or Hi-Fi at the time, was just doing so well. So I just stuck with that formula. And I said, that's more than enough for me at the time. Plus, in 2008, all of the Ontario market started opening up for us. Toronto. We were in Toronto probably about 15 times a year.
Wow.
And then with that came United States and across Canada and Europe and all of these wonderful places that we visited. So
yeah, word gets around.
It does, especially when, again, you have these crazy American companies, hiring this band from Montreal. Why?
Well, Montreal Rhapsody Orchestra sounds exotic, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
At the time, it does. Nowadays, I'm not sure how much it holds but with what's going on, but it does, absolutely. And we held up to it. We held up to the reputation. So they loved it, and we loved being there.
Yeah.
It was very exciting for us.
And we've done a few gigs together. Me
yeah.
as your lighting guy.
Yes, absolutely. Which I miss, by the way.
Oh, me too. Believe me,
gotta
me
tell
too.
you.
This might be an invitation. I don't know if you remember. A few years back, we were doing a wedding at the Windsor station. Not the station, the Windsor Hotel.
Windsor Ballroom, yeah.
Windsor Ballroom, and I was working another job at the time also, and at that time I had made a decision, and I decided that I will not do any more weddings because they just scrap me.
Yeah, it's very demanding.
Yeah.
We can get into that also.
Well, we will. But it finishes late, and it takes me 2 days to recuperate and all that. I was getting older, and I had another job. And I remember telling you, you're going to get a hell of a light show tonight because it's my last one.
I think I remember that.
I kept my promise, man. I never did another wedding.
It's soul crushing. I mean, it's a big part of our business as well. So I never, I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds us and everything.
Yeah.
But I understand it, and I'm a father, and I understand the importance of marrying off one of your children.
Yeah.
Getting everything perfect, making sure that everything goes well. And I take that to heart. Actually, when I'm on a wedding, that's a very important thing for me. It's like, I remember, I go there as a father and
the
saying,
feeling.
Okay, I know what these guys need. I know what they want. I want to be able to deliver, So I do. I take great importance in that, but it is very, very demanding as compared to a corporate where it's like, you're being pampered and fed and everything.
Yeah.
One set, and you come out of there as rock gods and stuff like that. So
yeah.
It's a different vibe, but it is still very gratifying. I mean, it's a nice feeling one way or another.
Yeah.
Seeing a couple happy, parents happy, it's nice. It really is.
It is. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
One thing I was wondering, I've done gigs with you where you are on stage and you are actually playing with your band.
Yeah.
And I obviously, if you have several bands going on, you can't be everywhere at the same time. Mm-hmm. So up to what point? I mean, at some point when you become the administrator of this company that you created, up to what point can you keep playing? Can you keep it active in the group, or are you just there to kind of oversee, make sure everything works? Are you still playing actively, or are you more administrating?
No, I'm very active. I'm actually the musical director of Rhapsody Orchestra, of the flagship of the company. I had someone prior to me, a very good friend, who unfortunately, time has placed us apart, who was taking care of this at a certain point. So I was always off stage looking in, which was much better for me because I can see what the product was. I can refine it from an outside point of view and everything. But when that didn't work out anymore, I put myself as the bass player and I put myself as the musical director. And I've been doing that with Rhapsody since 2017. Mm-hmm. So it's been that's been my life, and the other bands are run by these other guys that have been with me for a while, and they're my musical directors for the other bands. So
okay,
that's how we make that work. Yeah. And again, it's been there for over a decade, so people I trust very much.
That's cool. So you're still active. You say that business took a hit during COVID.
Yes. Putting it lightly, yes.
Let's go there.
Yeah, okay, let's go there.
I apologize in advance.
A little COVID conversation.
This is not going to be easy, and I know a lot of people have suffered through that period.
Yeah. A lot of people want to forget about it. I get it.
Yeah, indeed. But when that happened, I mean, obviously everything went dead.
Flatline is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Flatline.
So tell me about it. First of all, how did you receive that? And I know that you've turned around and you've had other activities going on like everybody else trying to survive. Why don't you tell me about that period? How you lived it?
Well, a lot of things were happening just before that period. And when I say just before that period, I'm saying maybe 3 months before.
Okay.
So we were basically hired to do a cross America for Gray TV. Basically, it's this broadcast company in the United States in Atlanta, based in Georgia. And 2 months prior to the shutdown, we were going to be broadcast over 400 stations in the United States with this corporate show, which was going to basically propel us to a completely different level. Now, mind you, prior to that, the success of the band was just crazy. You know, we were all very, very blessed.
That's at the time you had 3 versions of MRO.
It was crazy. Everything was, we were traveling all the time. We once were in Chicago, I think, like 3 times in 2 weeks, back and forth, and stuff like that. So we were very, very blessed. But we saw that this was going to be like next level stuff for us. So there was that potential. Mm-hmm. So the gig was basically, the contract was drawn out, was going to be in Alabama and all. So, okay, great, fantastic. I was getting separated at the time also. So that was a great time of my life. And I just bought a house. And the signing, that's funny enough, was done on the exact date that Quebec shut down for COVID. God. So we were on this long table at the notary, myself on one side, 14 feet from the notary, and 2 other people, all masked, completely freaked out. And the papers are being handed over to me, and I'm like, what is going on with my life right now?
Wow.
Now, buy the house, get into the house, crazy time, okay, no more work. But the funny thing is, and I think a lot of people would admit to this, the first 3-4 months was almost welcoming.
Yeah.
It was. I think everybody liked the rest, liked that everybody was on the same page. Everything is shutting down. We're all going to rest now.
Yeah.
It was after that you start getting a bit more antsy and saying, well, what's going on here? When is this coming back, Yeah. Then you start seeing other people starting to work in different industries, but music and entertainment, no go. So there was a little bit of resentment there also. I have to admit that, I wasn't able to do my job. Bank payments were still going through. Everything, life still continued. Gas wasn't free. Electricity wasn't free.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to work. So I quickly said, okay, well, plan B. Let's do something else. So what do people need? And it was food.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let's get into food. I'm Italian. I think I can handle this, whatever. It was a new industry for me. Yeah. But, I said, so... And funny enough, it was this new wave of like gourmet frozen pizzas, and it's like everywhere now, right? So everybody's doing it. But it kept me occupied. It kept me creative. And it was definitely a different industry than music, for sure.
Did it fill a gap financially or?
It actually did, funny enough, okay. Again, but if I have to be honest, Claude, the only reason I did it was to keep occupied and to say just never, like, I'm not going to just sit here and eat away at savings, right? Mm-hmm. But it was more of a challenge that I needed to do because I just couldn't stand still. It was 2 years in running the whole COVID thing. So, and then after COVID, I just saw that it was more consuming my time than anything else as music was starting to come back up. So I just sold the thing. And it wasn't the greatest experience of my life, but it was something nevertheless that I did and that I did very well at it. I still have clients now that hire me for my music and find out later that, oh, you own that pizza company? Yeah, we had you all the time. For It's just like, oh boy. So, sometimes I'm known more for pizza than I am for music. I'll take it.
And let's talk about the name. The name of that company, The Angry Paisano. Yeah. Tell me about it.
I don't know. Again, it just came up. It just came up. I thought it sounded great. I thought it was something pretty funny at the time, and it caught on. Actually, the name is definitely, it's known in the city. So it was something that was funny, and I thought it was a clever name. I don't know. Maybe I was fooling myself, but I liked it, and it actually worked for us at the time.
It was a clever name, I'll tell you. I always wondered how you came up with it, because if I had to find a name for your company, I don't think I would have thought of it, but I went, yeah, makes sense. A
lot of people, is this based on you? No. Well, a lot of people would disagree, but no, it wasn't based on me. But kind of was. So, yeah. So,
I thought there was a deeper meaning to that name. I'm disappointed.
listen, it was COVID. We were flatlined in music. Yeah, I was pretty pissed off.
Yeah. Everybody had a good reason to be pissed off, indeed.
So, yeah, and that's that story.
All right. So if we go back in time, back when, before you started even your working life, I mean, how did all this get in place for you? Because I repeat it probably on every episode. If I had known in high school that I could earn a living doing what I'm doing, which is professional lighting, I would have done it right off the bat. Whereas, not knowing, I went into all sorts of other stuff before I got into it. So when you were young, what were your aspirations? What did you want to do, and how did you get into this, and what else? Because I know you've done a whole bunch of other stuff too.
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh god, yeah. I think we all have. But yeah,
yeah.
If I go before 12 years old, I think most of my interest was in engineering. That's what I liked, basically. I loved everything about mechanics. I loved everything about where the future was heading with science and mechanics and engineering. So that was again, obviously wasn't studying it at the time, but that's where it seemed like my interest was. Then you realize what the real bug, meaning when that lightning bolt hits you. And it was in evening. I may have been 12. And my brother Mario found a acoustic guitar in the garbage can.
Oh.
He picks it up and he brought it back to me. No, there was no strings on it. There was nothing. It was just this acoustic. And just by handing it into my hands, basically, that was it. That's what changed the course of my life.
That easy.
It's. I don't know how to explain it. There are musicians and artists that have explained this, and so the best way I can explain this was it just that this is it. This is what I'm going to do.
Wow.
Right now. To what extent and how much suffering are you going to go through, or is there any success? You don't know, but you know that the love is there. So I had no strings. We didn't have money back then, in those days, whatever. So I was just starting to learn chords without strings on this guitar, cordless guitar. And I remember going to the local music store. It was in the winter. And I asked him, I said, hey, can I shovel the driveway? All I asked is for a pack of strings. And the guy said, sure, not a problem. So I shoveled the snow, gave me a pack of strings, and that was my first stringing of a guitar. Strung it like completely, all wrong. It was terrible. But you know what? I had strings on that guitar, and I was proud of it. So that's how it started. And then it was music from there on in.
Yeah, I remember my first guitar. I would tune all the strings to make it at least do one chord with open strings.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just...
The bar.
Yeah, just do the bar thing.
Keith Richards. All the way through. Yeah, absolutely.
It worked.
Yeah.
Elvis did that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, and then from there, you're spending 10, 12 hours a day at your craft. Just, listening to stuff, dissecting it, trying to figure out how it works, what's that sound, and you have... dealing with all of these knockoff guitars and knockoff pedals, nothing sounds right or whatever, and you're just struggling. But it's the trying and the searching for it that makes you better at it. So you're constantly looking for the right sound and the right tone, and you're practicing, dissecting songs, learning songs. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you were never alone.
It's all that work that make you who you are, that make you that develops quality, that develops talent. It's just like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly.
Yeah.
So the butterfly has to beat its wings against the cocoon to break it in order to be strong enough to survive and to be able to fly. If the butterfly didn't do that, then if somebody just opened up the cocoon, the butterfly would die. Couldn't fly because it wouldn't be strong enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I think of all the struggle, when you either begin to be a musician or for any other thing for that matter, all the time you spend, all the errors made, all the struggling. But honestly, did it feel like work, or was it just your passion?
No, at the beginning, it never felt like work.
Yeah, that's what I
at the beginning, it actually felt like, how fortunate you're getting to experience this stuff, because you're trying to explain it to some of your friends, and they're like, "No, I don't get what you're saying." It's like, can't you hear it? You can't hear that note, what he's playing there? Look at how that's changing everything. You know, that's changing the mood of the song.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
No, you become an alien.
You do.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
But you never feel alone. Like you're in the basement and you're doing this long hours and whatnot. But you never feel alone because you're always surrounded by, you know, this sound, and you always feel like you're part of the band, and you feel like you're part of the what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, it's nice. It was very, very nice company, actually.
Yeah, so that's how you became a musician then.
That is how I became a musician.
And then what happens?
I started high school. I was 14, so I went to a regular high school for 1 year, and then there was this recruiting. And we went to the auditorium, and there was this man speaking about this new school that they were opening up in Montreal. And it was Thomas Darcy McGee at the time. So it was an old high school, but they converted it to all arts.
Oh.
So I knew my parents would never allow this to happen, so I forged their signature.
No. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time.
Get her done.
Just get it done. So I think my sister kind of knew what was going on, but you know, I forged their signature, and I recruited myself into this new high school at age 14.
How did they find out?
My sister probably eventually told them, but I was all of a sudden, instead of walking to school, I'm waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, taking the bus and the metro to downtown Montreal. They figured it out. They eventually figured it out. They didn't care.
And this was a public school?
It was a public school, but it was all arts. So we were like, you know, I was majoring in music. It ended up being like 3-4 courses of music a day, which was great because it was a very small school, and everybody became your friends and family. My music teacher also, you know, Philip Godet, who's deceased. So he was everything to me at the time. Again, high school ended up being, not that it was a great experience like on a social level, but just because I was able to remain doing this thing.
Yeah.
That not many people get to do, right? You know, even nowadays, when you talk to someone who's working in an office, they say, well, what do you do for a living? I perform on stage, I do this, you know, we travel sometimes, whatever. Oh, it sounds exciting. Well, yeah, it is, but, you know, it's, you know, what you're doing is incredible also, right? It's like doing that day in and day out. You know, I obviously feel very, very privileged to have done this in my life. There's not really much more I can say about, you know, being here and saying that, wow, managed to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there were many decades that I didn't think it was going to happen. So, you know, always plan B, and this and that. Lose a wife here, lose a girlfriend there because of it, you know. So
yeah, there's a price to pay.
There is a price to pay.
And what about the plan B? I'd like to understand, you know, the let's say the transition between school and your professional life and what you went through, and yeah, let's go talk about the plan Bs also. How did you handle that, and how many times have you had to actually execute plan B or came close to it?
Well, plan B was never really finding another career. Plan B was just simply saying I need work, which at a young age I did anyways. Because, you know, you had a girlfriend, and in those days, you know, you would take care of people also, right? Like you know, it's not like you go out, you take care of dinner, you take, you know, no matter how young you were, you know, so you always needed money in your pockets and everything. So from being a waiter, from shining shoes, I mean, I was, you know, basically I was working with a shoemaker. I think I started at 8 shining shoes at the time, you know, and then it went on until 16, 17. I actually knew the craft at the time. I could have even continued with that if I wanted to. But odds and ends. And then eventually, because of music and because of guitars, I started a love for wood and woodworking.
Oh.
So my first official trade was a woodworker. So I became a carpenter.
Oh,
basically. And still to this day, it is my second, it's my hobby. So lots of wood at home and building stuff and everything. So I absolutely love it.
That's interesting.
So I did that for a while, and in and out, music in and out. Got married, first marriage. It didn't work out. After that, in 2001, 2002, decided to do this, and it's been doing very well since then.
And before this, were you playing in bands? Were you doing gigs? And
Wedding
all that?
bands, yeah. It was a lot of wedding bands and Italian wedding bands where, the gigs were like 6-7 hours of playing. It was like started 2 p.m. to 4 a.m, like, which people don't know about, right? When you try to explain that to musicians nowadays, a 2-hour gig is long for them. So it's like, well, we come from a different school, so. But that was it, and you're making good money, in those days for doing that. So that was it.
I was wondering.
Oh yeah. For the 80s and 90s, that was good money for one gig.
So that's good. And how did it work? Just a bunch of people, bunch of musicians decided to form a band and book themselves, or how did that work? Was there an agency or?
No, there was no agency for that. It essentially was a word of mouth. This guy's a musician, so on and so forth. So you go and audition and either get the gig or not get the gig, and then you end up start playing with them and everything. So in those days, wedding bands, there were a lot of wedding bands in Montreal. In the 80s and 90s, tons of wedding bands. And there was a business for it. Everybody was hiring a band. So DJ wasn't even on the... there were DJs out there, but it wasn't something that they would consider to use for a full event, right? So it was always a band.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm learning this.
Yeah.
Because I remember bands, yes, but I also remember DJs, or maybe they weren't called like that. They were called mobile discos, I think it was.
Yeah.
Everybody had one, like, late 70s. Well, one disco. I'll say this right one day. When disco came out, a lot of people, I myself had 2 speakers, an amp, and 2 turntables, which made me a sound guy, right?
Yeah.
Until I realized I wasn't.
Made you a supplier.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I got married in '88, and it was just a guy playing records, right?
Yeah. It was bands. Especially in the Italian community, and I'm going to guess also in the Jewish community here in Montreal, there were bands.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of them. I'm guessing, but at any given point, there was probably about 40 to 60 in Montreal alone.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That means a lot of musicians are working.
And they were working.
Yeah.
They were working. People were like, it was a common year. It was, 50, 60 weddings a year. Very, very easy. Some of the more successful bands were having 100, 120 a year. So, it was definitely good. It was good for the owners of the band at the time, very lucrative business and very demanding. It was a full day event, basically. Wake up, get to a gig, install the sound system yourself with everybody.
Yeah.
Remember how heavy everything was in those days?
Yeah.
So, it was
I know what you mean. I have
bone crushing.
I have a PV rig in the shed that I'm restoring right now.
How much does that weigh?
It's pretty heavy, although I don't have problems with heavy stuff.
No,
I can lift heavy stuff. Ask me to go up 2 flights of stairs, then I might tell you to fuck off.
Well, here's that story. None of these places had elevators in those days.
No,
none
indeed.
None of them had freight. So you're carrying these speakers by hand, upstairs, fire, stairs up all the way up. It's like winter.
There was no such thing as a light bass amp.
No. No. Everything was just so heavy. But again, all part of the tapestry of this industry. It was quite interesting. And you'd think at 4 a.m. once you're done and you're packed up, you think you go home. No, then it was time to go out and have fun.
And just packing up was something.
Oh, yeah.
Because you couldn't, once you were done your set, even in the day where there was a mix of DJ and band, because a lot of these gigs that I worked on as a lighting guy, the band would end at, 1 a.m. or 1:30 or whatever, however they stretched it and however money they gave you to stay longer. But after that, the DJ came on off until 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah, and you had to wait.
And you can't really take your stuff off because the party's still going on. So it's a long wait.
Yeah.
And then it's not over. Then you got to go party with the band, right?
Yeah. Lots of abuse.
Lots
of abuse in those days. That was it. That was your every weekend until the end of December, where you're doing, Christmas parties, and those got rough.
Yeah.
And those parties were the ones that basically...
Yeah, and
you need a couple of days of recoup.
And what's tough in this industry also is when everybody's having fun, you're working.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Trying to find the fun in that is, the key.
Yeah.
Because when I perform, I'm actually having a lot of fun. I really am. Unless something's going wrong, then I'm not having fun. The worst thing about it is that even though I'm performing, I'm still looking at the lights, what's going on with the lighting.
Yeah.
So looking at everybody perform, making sure that, everything's being done. Everything looks good. Everything hopefully sounds good. I can't tell. I'm from the back, so I'm hoping,
You're responsible for the
the
delivery.
image, the delivery, everything.
Yeah, that's because it's kind of your enterprise.
Yep.
If you're just a hired musician, all you have to worry about is your own performance.
Yeah. But I have an amazing group of people in the band, so it's the takeaway from all of this is that they trust me to follow what I'm asking from them.
Yeah.
They do it. Not everybody has to do it, and not everybody wants to, but they actually do it, and they seek success from it. So that's the key of this communication. This line of communication is trusting the vision, delivering the vision, and then seeing the success come from it. Mm-hmm. If any of those things don't happen, it doesn't happen, basically. You can't convince someone, especially if they're looking at you and you're like, oh, this guy's crazy. What are you talking about? I've done these kind of shows millions of times. Don't worry about it. And you're sitting there and you're saying, and you're less of a musician than these guys, and you're not as good. It's like, but no, you're wrong. Just trust me, you got to do it this way, because if not, it ain't going to work. It's that, it's trying to convince someone of that part that changes what you're delivering.
Especially when you're starting off doing that, because right now you have a reputation. People know your success. You can look it up. I mean, you can see what you've done over the years, right? Yeah. You have credibility.
Yeah, I mean, at least if nothing else, locally, for sure. Maybe Toronto as well, but yeah.
Yeah, but now there's archives. There's online.
Yeah.
You can ask for references. You can look it up. Which something that was a bit harder to do back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
You were nobody, and there was no trace of you unless you had the newspaper that came out on that particular date.
Yeah.
Whereas now everything is traceable, right?
And no thanks to me, by the way, because I don't know if you know this, but when I started all of this, I was zero social media for about 15 years.
Oh.
You couldn't, with the exception of, who was that band? That's the only way you knew who it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing any social media at all, actually. And I believed more in the fact that if someone really wanted to, they'll find it, which is this ridiculous thing, just put it on social media, you can find. But I like more of that cachet. I don't know. It was just something I grew up with, like Pink Floyd. I didn't even know what they looked like until I think 98.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
No one knew what they looked like. So
yeah.
They were just going according to a reputation, a sound, their songs and stuff like that. So I was following a little bit of that, hey, if they like the band, they'll mention the band, the word of mouth and stuff like that.
Well, I think there was a lot of that going on. It was a community. Everybody's speaking to each other.
Yeah.
References. And, references is a thing. It's always been, and it still is.
Yeah.
And you can advertise all you want, but somewhere people want to validate.
They do. I mean, it's easy to make something look good.
Yeah.
On social media.
Yeah.
It's easy to have everything polished. It really is. And you know what? We had some of the best promotional videos out there. Things that have changed the industry. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say that. It actually was. I was part of that, creating this new look on how to advertise a corporate band.
Yeah, I was part of it.
Yeah, you were. That's right. Yes, of course. You did the lighting for it. Of course you were part of it.
I tried.
Yes, you did.
I tried to do the lighting because that was at a time where LED panels were coming out.
Yeah, very thick.
Yeah, and your lights were never strong enough to cut through the video pollution, I call it.
Yeah.
And which is why the Sharpie is so famous today, because it's about the only fixture that cuts through all.
Absolutely. They're definitely the next generation of Vari lights, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They cut.
All the visual noise that's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. So, where are we today in all of this, you say you have two versions of MRO that...
Yeah, Rhapsody Orchestra and Montreal Rhapsody Orchestra. One which was primarily for the road, which was almost all the time on the road, and one local, basically. So during wedding seasons and stuff like that, there's a lot of the two are out at the same time.
So it's two different names.
Well, it's their Rhapsody. Basically, what happened is about 5 years ago, when I started to see what the relationships were happening in the United States and everything, I think I decided to drop the Montreal.
Oh, okay.
But it's still there. It's still as the trademark. It's still there on the website and everything. We just refer to it shortly as Rhapsody Orchestra at this point. And they're identical formation, identical string formation, brass formation, everything. The songs, the way they look, even. Male singer, female singer. So just like no one gets nervous, is that person? And I can never guarantee anyways who the singers are, because you just don't know what musicians here today, gone tomorrow for whatever reason in life.
Yeah, I suppose you have a pool of of main musicians and subs and singers and all that, and you need backups, right?
Yeah, we need. But I mean, like the band that I'm in is primarily usually always the same people. They've been there for a while also. But again, as a lot of people, when they hire you, well, we want that singer next year. Well,
you never know.
I'd like that singer next year. If you know something I don't know, let me know now. But I can't guarantee it, unfortunately. So yeah, it's life. Life is life. So
indeed. So where are we going from now? What's the future?
Well, I actually use this term a lot. I'm on my last third.
Oh, yeah.
55. So I'm guessing, God willing, I'm looking at maybe 5 to 7 more years of this. I'd like to hand over the product to the musicians.
Oh.
As a thank you.
Nice legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if they're interested. They see me do this, so I'm not sure if they're interested or not.
Well, you need somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody who wants to pull the strings.
Yeah. But I'd like to leave it to them as a
That's very thoughtful.
Well, listen, they gave a lot. They got paid, but they gave a lot.
Yeah.
I think it would be only fair that this would be something for them. Yeah. They have to want it, though. They have to really, because it's a lot of work.
Well, being on that topic, this is how I normally end the podcast. I ask this question.
Sure.
With your experience and everything you've been through, let's say you're talking either to yourself when you started off, or talking to anybody else who wants to get into this industry.
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
Well, again, I have some success, but I don't have like an artistic success and stuff like that. I didn't write a number one hit or anything, but the only thing I can say is that if you do want to make some sort of living in doing this, find something you really enjoy, because it's really going to test you. So if you find something that you enjoy, it's part of this, like, be the best at it. Just really do it to a point where you can't get questioned. You can't be like, well, what do you, I got this. I know what I'm doing. But you have to enjoy it, because it's, as I said, it's going to test you constantly. And advice to myself, I would have said probably don't take life too seriously, because that was a big mistake.
That is wise. That is really wise. I'll say I'm guilty of not taking life too seriously, and it's served me well.
Good for you. Good. Well, you seem nice and relaxed. You seem at peace with yourself and everything. So.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm always like that. No. Some things stress me. But then again, the age is there. I mean, but I've always been pretty much of a relaxed person.
Yeah, of course.
And I kind of trust that things are going to fall into place.
I wish I had that. That's the one thing I really, really wish I had.
Well, I think that's because of my attitude. Yeah. Like when people around me try to make me panic and say, "Oh, this is this is coming up, and this is going to bash you in the face, and this, that, and that," and they're trying to make me panic with things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll deal with it when I have it in my face.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful.
Like Richard Desjardins once said, and I'm going to try to translate this: the worst is when okay, here it is. The worst is when the worst starts to worsen. But then again, there are a lot of worse things that never happened.
That's brilliant, actually.
It's hard to translate. It sounds better in French.
Very wise. Very, very wise indeed.
Well, Amerigo, thank you so much once
thank you,
again
Claude.
for doing this with me.
Yeah, pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and listen, I wish you the best third of your life.
Thank you. Well, once I retire, I'll invite you over at the garden.
I'd love to. Take care, man. Talk
Thank
soon.
you. Take care.